This show has allowed all kinds of people to come on. People we agree with, people we don't agree with. I've not been a fan of this man's. I don't like how he talks to us. I don't like how he talks to the nation.
Why did Whoopi Goldberg suddenly vanish from daytime television without a single goodbye? One moment, she was there, trading heated opinions on The View, and the next, poof, she was off the grid. Insiders say her disappearance isn't some spur-of-the-moment vacation. It's a calculated move tied to an $80 million lawsuit from none other than Elon Musk. But that's not all. Rumors swirl that the FBI has started digging around, turning a high-profile celebrity clash into a potential federal ordeal. Is Whoopi truly on the run, or did she leave for a reason nobody saw coming? Buckle up, because this story isn't just about personal feuds.
He took little X.
Funny. And little Instagram.
He doesn't own Instagram.
He doesn't own Instagram. He just took little X.
It's about media responsibility, celebrity influence, and how far someone will go to protect their reputation. The first tremor in this media earthquake was Whoopi Goldberg's abrupt disappearance from The View. Viewers noticed something was off when, out of nowhere, she stopped appearing on the panel. No farewell address, no official statement, just an empty chair that left her co-hosts awkwardly skating around the topic. Usually, when a host steps away, the network issues a statement about a medical leave or a planned vacation. This time, there was nothing but silence. Backstage whispers started almost immediately.
I just leave. I go home. I go home to my life, and I take care of my cat and do all the stuff I'm supposed to do.
Some staff members believed she'd been quietly fired for crossing a line on air. Others speculated she'd decided to walk away after a private disagreement with producers. But the real shock came when word got out that Whoopi had actually left the entire country, disappearing faster than any paparazzi or press could track her down. Almost overnight, social media ignited. Fans demanded answers, tabloids fanned the flames, and critics insisted that a scandal was brewing. The abruptness felt suspicious, especially for someone as established as Whoopi. She has weathered heated controversies in the past without batting an eye.
She said, you don't want to do this. I have the keys to the car, let's go. And my excuse was, I don't want to embarrass this person because, we sent all these invitations out and you don't want to leave them looking bad.
Why leave so dramatically this time? Had the tension on set become too much to bear? Or was there a bigger story lurking behind closed doors? Just when curiosity hit its peak, rumors of an $80 million defamation lawsuit started circulating. The alleged plaintiff? Elon Musk, the man behind Tesla, SpaceX, and a series of headline-making decisions, was said to be gunning not just for Whoopi, but for the entire production team at The View. The claims sounded too surreal to be true, but soon court documents leaked, and it became painfully clear this wasn't just a celebrity spat.
The mother that I knew was vastly different from the mother that she was because of, she had a nervous breakdown, was put into Bellevue.
Then came the real bombshell. Insiders claimed the FBI was quietly monitoring the situation. At first glance, that sounded outrageous. Why would the federal government care about a daytime talk show kerfuffle? But as more details trickled out, the narrative got darker. Some believed that the remarks Whoopi made on air could be interpreted as inflammatory, or worse, inciting. Suddenly, leaving the country didn't seem like a dramatic stunt. It seemed like a strategic escape. Yet as wild as it sounds to imagine FBI agents watching a daytime talk show, the real catalyst for this entire chain of events was something far more personal. The moment Whoopi allegedly crossed Elon Musk's threshold for tolerance. Before anyone could blink, headlines everywhere read,
I don't know what else to say, but it is. I'm just looking at this video and it's so bizarre.
Elon Musk files $80 million suit against The View. At first, people assumed it was a joke or a tabloid fabrication. It's not unusual for celebrities to threaten lawsuits, only to settle in private or let things fizzle out. But Musk's legal team wasn't bluffing. They marched into court, citing defamation and malicious intent behind a series of statements made by Whoopi and her co-hosts. In the complaint, Musk's attorneys argued that Whoopi went on national television and implied he was secretly plotting a takeover of the U.S. government, teaming up with Senator J.D. Vance in some clandestine plan should Donald Trump be forced out of office. While everyone knows The View hosts banter about politics and gossip,
offer me money, offer me power, I don't care.
Musk saw this as a serious assault on his character and ambition. He insisted it wasn't just hot air, or comedic exaggeration. He believed it was a calculated, damaging accusation broadcast to millions. The demand for $80 million might sound astronomical, but Musk's team had a pointed reason for the amount. They wanted to send a clear message. In an era of viral soundbites and social media pylons, words carry weight. From Musk's perspective, being labeled a conspirator against democracy wasn't just a standard celebrity insult. He claimed it jeopardized his public image, business relationships, and personal safety.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f*** yourself.
Critics argued Musk was overreacting and that his public persona thrives on controversy. After all, he's known for stirring the pot on Twitter, sometimes making outlandish claims of his own. But Musk supporters countered that a major network show with a massive audience has a responsibility to present facts, or at least clarify speculation when they lob serious allegations. As the suit gained traction, other media outlets started to scramble. Some fretted that if Musk could successfully sue over talk show banter, it could create a chilling effect on free speech. Others welcomed the possibility that talk shows might finally be held accountable for what they say, especially when they dabble in unverified rumors. But the lawsuit was just one piece of the puzzle. The real firestorm ignited over something seemingly trivial, an offhand joke about staircases that Whoopi dropped during the show. It's not unusual for The View hosts to crack jokes, especially at the expense of political figures or tech billionaires.
I think other people seem to sparkle when they're in love, and I like to see that. But for me, it's like I sparkle when I'm not in love.
It's the show's formula, a blend of pop culture, hot takes, and spunky one-liners. Yet this time, Whoopi's humor took on a sharper edge. She made a quip about people tripping down stairways that some felt was a veiled threat, or at least an unnerving insinuation. Suddenly, Twitter lit up. Clips of Whoopi's remarks spread, with users dissecting every syllable. Was she hinting that Musk or someone else should literally take a fall? Was it a metaphor for downfall in a more figurative sense? The ambiguity fueled speculation, and within days, people demanded accountability. Musk's legal team seized the moment, pointing to the clip as evidence that Whoopi was peddling reckless, potentially harmful rhetoric. Then came the murmurs about the FBI. At first, it sounded like pure rumor, something drummed up by conspiracy theorists or overzealous fans. But leaks from inside the production and law enforcement circles suggested that certain government agencies were indeed reviewing the incident, if only to ensure no lines had been crossed. Musk's followers insisted this proved Whoopi's statements were being taken seriously at the highest level. Skeptics rolled their eyes, attributing the FBI involvement to online gossip. Regardless of the truth, the atmosphere around The View changed.
You know, and the older I get, the happier I am. And so just in case, and I'm directing this to folks who may want to write me on the internet.
Producers reportedly put pressure on the hosts to dial back any incendiary language. Whoopi, once so unflinching with her words, began to look visibly uncomfortable on air. Insiders claimed it wasn't just the network's caution. She was said to be deeply rattled, especially knowing that a man as wealthy and resourceful as Musk had turned his legal guns on. Meanwhile, the public grew increasingly fascinated with the drama. This was more than a celebrity spat. It felt like a flashpoint in the broader conversation about free speech, accountability, and the power of media platforms. Usually, shows like The View are known for high-profile debates and controversial guests, but rarely do they face a lawsuit of this magnitude. Even more rarely do viewers see one of the show's most famous hosts vanish without explanation. In the midst of all this chaos, rumors began swirling that Whoopi wasn't just uncomfortable, she was in full-blown meltdown mode behind the scenes. What exactly could prompt the FBI to even glance in the direction of a daytime talk show? According to some insiders, the tipping point was the explicit mention of a plot to undermine democratic processes.
The mother that I knew was vastly different from the mother that she was because of, she had a nervous breakdown.
While the segment on The View might have been tongue-in-cheek, the insinuation that Musk was conspiring with political figures to orchestrate a coup struck a sensitive chord. In today's climate, any mention of political subversion raises red flags, especially when it's broadcast on national TV. That's where the FBI chatter began. Could these claims be more than idle chatter? Were they just comedic riffing, or were they feeding wild conspiracy theories that could encourage fringe elements? With Musk's legal team framing the statements as part of a malicious narrative, the entire ordeal graduated from standard gossip to potential federal interest. Additionally, the stairway joke added an unexpected dimension. People started interpreting Whoopi's words as a call to violence or intimidation. Never mind whether that was her intention. Online discussions spun the narrative in so many directions that even a mild exaggeration became a reason to panic. Some argued it was a harmless joke about clumsiness or comedic slapstick. Others insisted it was a dog whistle of something more sinister. Producers for The View found themselves in a bind. On one hand, they wanted to protect their star host. On the other, they had to protect the show's reputation and legal standing. Conflicting strategies led to tension behind closed doors. Some insisted on issuing an immediate on-air correction or apology. Others said apologizing would look like an admission of guilt, handing Musk's legal team more ammunition. In the end, everything seemed to lock up in a stalemate. Network executives remained eerily silent. Whoopi grew more cautious and less present. Anonymous staffers leaked that morale was at an all-time low, with some employees worried about their job security. The atmosphere became so toxic that many started wondering how much longer The View could continue under these conditions. Within days of those frantic backstage meetings, Whoopi made her most surprising move yet. She fled the country, leaving everyone to question the real reason behind her overseas escape. If you've followed Whoopi Goldberg's career, you know she's no stranger to controversy. She's been criticized for her takes on sensitive topics, has butted heads with co-hosts, and has even faced calls for boycotts in the past. Through it all, she's always appeared unshakable, confident, and ready to defend her stance. So why now? Why break under the pressure of an Elon Musk lawsuit when she's faced so much adversity before? Insiders say the difference this time is the sheer scale of the backlash. In the past, a few angry letters or social media storms blew over. This time, we're talking about an $80 million lawsuit, a possible FBI look-in, and a flood of negative attention that made every moment on set a potential minefield. Not to mention the swirl of rumors about potential threats or intimidation tactics, whether real or imagined, that weighed heavily on her psyche. A handful of staffers who asked not to be named revealed that Whoopi's demeanor behind the scenes changed dramatically. She showed up looking tense, avoided casual hallway chats, and reportedly vented about feeling hung out to dry by ABC. Without a unified show of support from the network, she felt like a scapegoat, bearing the brunt of a story that was getting larger by the second. At the peak of this tension, she missed a series of important production meetings and table reads, fueling speculation that she might be planning a dramatic exit. Soon after, the rumors were confirmed. She was gone. The official line from some corners was that she simply needed a break. But those closer to the situation said it was more like a tactical retreat, a move to shield herself from the coward, accusing her of running away from the consequences of her action. Conspiracy theories exploded, with some folks insisting she was seeking asylum in a location without extradition, though no credible sources confirmed such extremes. Still, the optics were bad. One of America's most recognizable television personalities disappearing under the cloud of a massive lawsuit and possible federal interest? It fed the storyline that something huge was going on, that she was guilty of more than just loose talk. Even those who were sympathetic to Whoopi's side couldn't ignore the bizarre spectacle of a daytime TV host skipping the country without so much as a formal statement. Insiders say she's not exactly in hiding. Some claim she's holed up in a resort-like setting, consulting legal teams via video conference, and working on a strategy to clear her name or negotiate a settlement. Others speculate she's using this time to de-stress and avoid the relentless media circus, hoping the situation might cool off enough to return quietly later. But if calming the waters was her aim, it backfired. Her departure stoked a fresh wave of investigations into her past comments, not just the ones about Elon Musk. Old clips surfaced in which she defended questionable viewpoints, or snapped at guests in ways that critics now say show a pattern of reckless commentary. Even her supporters began urging her to release a statement, an explanation, anything to stop the rumor mill from running wild. Amid the uproar, it wasn't just Whoopi's reputation on the line. The View, once a daytime juggernaut, found itself under the microscope like never before. While Whoopi's disappearance made headlines, it also dragged The View into a deeper crisis. The show has always thrived on strong personalities and divisive opinions, but it never expected to be at the center of a federal probe or a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. The online backlash was swift and brutal. Petitions popped up demanding the show be canceled, with outraged users accusing the hosts of spreading dangerous misinformation. Clips from past episodes started circulating, times when the panel joked about sensitive issues or aired comments that, in hindsight, seemed irresponsible. Critics declared these were red flags that the show consistently blurred the line between provocative opinions and outright defamation. The View still had its defenders, of course. Some praised the show for tackling topics that other daytime programs avoided and insisted that, while the hosts sometimes misspoke, free speech should protect. Amid the chaos, advertisers took notice. In the modern era, brands are acutely aware of public sentiment, and nobody wants to be associated with a show perceived as irresponsible or under federal and legal scrutiny. Whispers grew that major sponsors were quietly reevaluating their partnerships, bracing themselves for the possibility of a steep ratings drop or an even bigger controversy. Inside the network, tensions reached a boiling point. Showrunners scrambled to pivot the show's content, focusing on less incendiary topics and avoiding mention of the lawsuit or Whoopi's absence. But the elephant in the room refused to leave. Every viewer knew something was up. Ratings took a dip. Some blamed viewers who tuned out in protest, while others blamed the show's clumsy attempts to dodge the Musk controversy. All of this begs the question, can The View survive a scandal this seismic? And if it does, what will it look like when the dust settles? For years, The View has been a daytime staple, known for its fiery exchanges and strong personality. But the show's future has never been shaky. With Whoopi absent and a colossal lawsuit looming, rumors swirl about big changes. Could the network part ways with the entire panel to save face? Or even cancel the show altogether? Industry veterans argue it's not so simple. Despite the negative attention, The View still draws a loyal audience. Daytime TV revolves around this kind of talk show drama, and there's money to be made even in controversy. Yet the real concern is legal liability. If Musk's lawsuit gains traction, or if the FBI decides there's enough to investigate more thoroughly, the network might decide the risk outweighs the reward. Meanwhile, the show's co-hosts are stuck in an awkward limbo. They can't publicly slam Whoopi without looking disloyal, nor can they fully defend her without risking more legal trouble. Their usual